Well, Brazilian debt obviously has been very volatile, and as a matter of fact, following the political crisis, spreads did go out to 500 basis points, and obviously on the back of all the downgrades that Brazil has been subjected to over the last 6 months. And obviously it's a matter of perspective for investors, right? Especially when it comes to comparing Brazilian debt to other countries, and what's going to happen next in Brazil in terms of anchoring a political process. That said, given the fact that Brazil is not growing at the moment, as a matter of fact is in a recessionary cycle, you need to take a view as to how long this recession is going to take, what are the macro measures that need to be implemented, and then you could view that 500 basis points was a very good entry point from a value perspective if you believe that a number of events will happen along the way. So I believe that now that it's trading around the 350, and now as the political process is moving on, that there are a number of expectations created in the market for a resolution to this political crisis, stalemate, and potentially an anchoring of the macro that could lead to stabilization in spreads. And that would be good for Brazil and would make Brazilian debt more attractive. Very much subject to what happens on the political side. We know that the macro is still negative, but then once again, understanding the path of spreads is trying to understand, to map out the path of volatility. If we think that there will be a political anchoring in Brazil and a macro stabilization, then obviously the expectation for Brazil debt would be good. Well, Brazil has been for many, many years the darling of the emerging world, attracting flows both in equity and debt. I would say it's a big country, big population, positive demographics, so producer of everything in the world. So it has all the comparative and a number of competitive advantages that makes Brazil a natural pole of attraction for capital if you have certain conditions present in the country. So we're going through a very difficult political and macro moment at the stage, but if a number of hurdles are overcome, I believe that Brazil can power on in the future. Well, in many respects, there is an aspect of not only the politics that are underpinning expectations for the debt, but also how relative values work, not only in Latin America, but also elsewhere in the emerging world. Also the path for ratings for Brazil, the technical aspects of flows, how people need to be positioned in Brazil vis-a-vis their benchmark, their indices. So there are a number of things at play that would indicate whether it is more or less attractive to own Brazil. I would say the path of ratings is still negative, given that we're still in a recession. But given the, I would say, monetary accommodation that is still ongoing in the global context, I would say the Brazilian spreads are still fairly attractive. Then the question is, when is the right moment to invest?